Hey,
Hello, friend.
hello, Geekscape world, and welcome to a conversation from the Jersey Ghouls, from your beloved ghouls.
Yes,
Jackie,
we
I have
have
to oh god.
we've taken over. We have
Yeah,
taken over the
we took it.
YouTube situation for a little bit.
Yeah,
I
it's about
paid
time we
Marissa
took
off.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we've been toying with this network too long. It's time for us to reign. Just kidding.
yeah.
Mostly. Now it goes to dead air.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we are Jackie and Marissa. We are from the Jersey Ghouls, and we are here to talk about a beloved question mark
yes.
film. Yes,
No.
Jackie says yes.
Exclamation point.
Exclamation
Exclamation
point,
point.
excuse me. But before we do that, I'm going to put a quick pin in that, Jackie, just for a second, because for the Taylor fans out there, we just got an album cover and we just got a full title for the album. So if anybody like me is a big Taylor Swift dork, The Life of a Showgirl, Sweat and Vanilla Perfume is the new album. And I got to tell you, the very glittery orange vibe of it, I'm feeling. And I'm also feeling the gorgeous picture of her on the album. Will I be sending them my money? Of course I will.
Okay.
No, nothing.
Nope.
Yay. Yeah.
For you,
Fair
I'm
enough.
happy for
Yeah.
you. I'm happy that you're happy.
Thank you. Thank you. I adult,
Sure.
not so. You adult proper. I don't like I'm still a 14-year-old. So
Yeah.
new pop music. But anyway, we are here to talk about Return to Oz, the fever dream, fever nightmare for a lot of us as children. That is this film, but it is definitely a classic. So Jackie, tell me a little bit about your experience with Return to Oz.
Oh my goodness, my experience. This movie comes out in 1985. I can't imagine that as a 4-year-old I watched this movie, but this movie was definitely something that I watched a whole lot of, probably more so than the 1939 original Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
This was a very accessible movie for me, probably through the local video store, probably on HBO, probably played on cable TV on a Saturday matinee. I watched this a ton, so much so that I used to go out in my backyard and pretend that I was Dorothy, and I wouldn't play Wizard of Oz. I would play
Mm.
Return to Oz. I would have a plushie with me that was my Bellina.
Oh,
I would go
was
next
it a
door to my
chicken?
aunt. No,
You know,
it
stuffed
wasn't a
chicken.
chicken plushie, but I needed something. I'd go next door to my aunt and uncle's house, who not only had an apple tree, they also had a grapevine for wine. And I used to pick stuff and pretend it was like my apple pale lunch. I don't know. I loved it. I
Wow.
used to dig in
Okay.
like my backyard praying to find a key for something. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is something that I have been watching for a very long time. And I think for whatever reason, it never scared me. And if it did, I don't remember. And I know that there are a lot of people that find this movie very scary, but I will argue that, sure, it's scary. So is the OG Wizard of Oz.
Sure.
Like, you can't tell
Yeah.
me flying monkeys and a green witch aren't scary. So,
Yeah, but and forgive me, but I would argue that I totally agree with you. I was terrified of the Wicked Witch when I was a kid, as I imagine most kids probably grow up feeling, especially the part where she comes in the globe. I don't know if anybody remembers that scene.
terrible.
But and I
The
was very
monkeys
scared of
always
like,
got me. Yeah.
yeah, they're terrifying.
Yeah.
But I think, and this is why I love that Ghouls is here to cover and celebrate Return to Oz. I think this is a horror movie through and through, Jackie, in a way that like Wizard of Oz has scary elements, but it's still like a fantasy film, like
Yeah.
I think this is a horror movie proper. I
Yeah,
really
I
do.
mean, the writers and the director purposely wanted to shift the tone from the original.
Oh, and they
They
did.
knew. They knew that, like, if they tried to kind of just recreate visually what we had in 39, like, they knew it would be, I believe that one of the phrases I saw, I can't remember if it was one of the directors, or I'm sorry, one of the writers or the director, but they had said, like, in quote, like, it would be blasphemous if we tried to recreate anything from 1939.
That's very
They
true.
they
Yeah.
wanted to be able to take this story, be very true to some of the books, and give that dark 80s Disney spin.
Yeah. And now it's bold of them to do this basically 50 years later
Mhm.
from the original film because it is such a big film. And I think anything that tried to tackle that vibe would have gotten panned for being just a cheap sequel. Like I think a
Mhm.
sequel to The Wizard of Oz is so impossible to do, and yet because this film is so different, I think in that way I'll give you that. I think it does it well because it's a very mid 80s. Like I always say, this feels more like a Henson film than a Disney film. Like,
Oh, yes. I agree.
it's got like a Dark Crystal Labyrinth vibe, and that darkness that those films have, you know? But I
Oh, yeah.
think
Well, I agree with you calling it a horror movie. I think, though, if we're going to really categorize it, this is firmly in the fantasy, like Dark Crystal, like Labyrinth. Like, this is a fantasy movie to me. Like, definitely has horror elements,
yeah,
but
yeah.
to me, where like a movie like
We've probably
Alien is
covered
both
those on the
sci-fi
show.
and horror. This movie, to me, this is a dark fantasy.
There is something insanely and it could just be my lack of nostalgia for it because I didn't watch it really watch it until adulthood because I was too terrified of the Whalers as most kids were at our age group. I was a big chicken. So even though I was at the same time watching like Freddy Krueger and like all these other truly horrifying films from the horror genre, and yet I was too afraid to watch Return to Oz for some reason. And I've spent a lot of energy trying to unpack that. I don't think I ever will. I think it's just because what a horror movie I knew what I was getting, this was supposed to be a kids movie to me. So that always made
Yeah.
me.
And
But I
I
loved
think that
Labyrinth.
is I think that's why, like, one of the reasons that, like, critically this movie did not make a lot of money was because, they're marketing it as a children's movie. They're marketing it as a family movie. And
And yeah,
it really, I mean, to me it is because I grew up with it, but like really this is some heavy stuff. There is heavy visuals.
oh my
Suddenly we've got
gosh,
like claymation monsters. We've got a big guy eating people. Like it is.
we've got a young protagonist who is completely unreliable and mentally ill from the get go. Like if you
Yeah.
strip away that she's Dorothy from Oz, really what you've got is a really unstable young child having a narrative, possibly mental breakdown. We don't know. We don't know if
We
Oz
don't
is
know.
real. We don't know if she has multiple personalities, which I can't wait to get into. We don't. But anyway, you're right. It's got a vibe that, and as a Disney dork, I'm always so fascinated that this was a Disney movie because listen, the mid '80s were a weird time for Disney for sure. We saw a lot of
Mhm.
creepy ass movies come out of this era. But so fun fact, this is the first film in the Disney history to have the iconic castle logo at the beginning.
Mhm.
That's wild to me. I was like, holy cow, that makes this movie really important to the Disney canon. And to me, it's also a part of that weird genre, that weird time for Disney where they were really struggling to figure out who they wanted to be with film. And these were the
Mhm.
kind of films that were like a fever dream out of the Disney studio at the time. And this one, I think, lives on. And yeah, we all know Return to Witch Mountain, but I can't tell you the last time like anybody's really
Oh
watched it.
yeah.
Whereas I feel like people now, does Return of Oz continue to hold up, do we think?
I I'm gonna
Like,
say
do kids
yes. And
today
again,
respond well?
nostalgia goggles on. I
Okay.
think it holds up because of the lore, because of the cult classic
Okay.
status.
Because do you
That
think
is where I
because it's a
think at
Wizard of
this
Oz film?
point.
Like, do you think that's what keeps it, like, moving?
No, I
Like, would we
think
be talking about this film today if it wasn't an Oz film, quote, unquote? You know what I mean? Like
I see, to me, there's the original movie Wizard of Oz and this movie are in such different stratospheres that I
yeah.
don't even relate them to be together because I mean, the 39 Wizard of Oz, like classic among classic movies.
Right.
Like to me, you can't put them in the same. They can't be at the same table. They are so diametrically different.
Yeah. But they
That it's
are,
tough
right? Like, you
to.
can't
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, it's tough to. I mean, the crazy thing too is, I know that for me, I thought growing up that they just made a sequel to Wizard of Oz. I knew Wizard of Oz was a book, and I thought, okay, the writers just made a sequel. I was probably in high school when I shouldn't say
Yeah.
figured out when I learned that not only is this been based on two of the books, number 2 and 3 of the series, there was like a crap ton of Oz books. I
Yeah.
had
There's
no
40
idea.
altogether in the canon now.
Yeah, it's an
Yep.
insane amount of books, and
I don't think he
then
wrote all
knowing.
40 though.
No, he didn't. He didn't. He had the
Um,
first handful. But yeah, like at some point
yeah,
in like
Frank
one
Baum
of the
was
later, like I think like book 5, maybe Aunt Em and Uncle Henry go to Oz and then they all live there permanently. And
wow.
yeah, like Oh yeah. No,
So it
there's
gets weird. Like,
it gets super weird. It gets super, but I mean, like, even book 2 and 3, so they smash them together to make Return to Oz's
yeah, and they're pretty
plot.
faithful to the characters and stuff, right?
They much more faithful than the 1939 is to the original book. They, you know, kind of put some of the characters together. Like, obviously, one of our villains, Mombi, is Mombi from book 2, who is kind of another witch character. And then there's Princess Langwidere from book number 3. So they smash them together. Langwidere is the one that takes all the heads. Mombi is the one that traps Ozma, but then they're just yeah. So I mean, they're pretty faithful. There's stuff taken out, but I think that most of the book is more Ozma of Oz as opposed to book 2, which is the Marvelous Land of Oz. But
Okay.
they did a really good job adapting it, but I think that it was just, I don't know, like, I almost want to say it was just a little too much. Like, they took it and they were like, okay, here's the story. And like, really, the dark fantasy, the, you know, kind of family horror in the sense of like Gremlins, and you know, it's
Mhm.
definitely, it's like one of those horror entries that
Agreed.
we would show
I
somebody.
really would argue it
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Oh
And
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that Frank Baum's work was so much darker than 99% of the population, even to this day, knows. I think Wicked has shown a little bit of a light on some of it. I think that it continues to be a story that, for some reason, has and a series that has just lived on in so many ideations and continues to find fresh takes on itself, which I am always fascinated by. So he did something right, and I definitely want to at some point really lock into that series. But I will say, yeah, I think what made this so dark was that they were loyal to the you know,
It's, yeah, to
the book
I can
itself.
say rewatching it, I
Source
mean, I've seen
material.
it
That
so
was the
many
word I
times,
couldn't
but
get out.
even like rewatching it with the lens of the horror, like, we're going to talk about this horror movie. I'm telling you, the scene that for me that gets me the most. Like, like I said,
Ooh,
I've
that's a fun
lucky
game.
never been scared of the Wheelers. The scene that gets me is the stuff with Mombi. When she
Mm,
first meets Mombi and she starts to go through the hallway with the heads, when Dorothy goes back and steals the powder of life, and Mombi is screaming her name and all the heads are just on pedestals screaming at her. Oh my god, like, that is what gets
it's
me.
terrifying, yeah. No
Being
matter how many
being
times I watch it.
like, when they get back up and they're sprinkling the powder of life on the Gump, and you just hear from like way, way down the hall her screaming, Dorothy Gale, and it keeps getting
Yeah,
louder.
close up on
That's the
the face.
stuff that like unnerves me. And I'm like, okay, like, I can see where that, yeah, like, that's the unnerving scenes for me, but also my absolute favorite scenes.
Agreed. And no matter how many times I watch this, and admittedly I only watch it when I have to because of you, it's jarring to me. It's a film that, like, this is almost embarrassing to admit, but I don't like watching it. And it's not because I don't think it's a good film, because honestly I do. And if you haven't, for some reason, crazy reason, seen it yet, please take the time to watch it. But it is it is jarring in a way that a family horror film shouldn't be. And I guess that's where I always have like an uneasiness with this film, because I'm like, I shouldn't be this uncomfortable for watching an 8-year-old peruse a ball. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't
Sure.
make any sense. But in a lot of ways, it's a film that is a good watch. And I think, especially looking at it ironically through a horror lens, which, as the Jersey Ghouls, of course, we're gonna do. Oh, speaking to which, there is something I'd like
Okay.
to pay homage to, and it might be my new favorite thing about Return to Oz. When we originally recorded a Jersey Ghouls episode on this, for in honor of Jackie's love of this film, I took a big poo on the film. Like, I teased her about the ridiculousness of it, because it is a pretty absurd
It's ridiculous.
plot. But one of my favorite things that she got indignant about was the Gump, because I was like, well, why do they feel the need to put a head on the couch? And I was like, just busting her chops, right? And her answer to me was, because she was angry at this point. She's like, I'm not going to explain couch biology to you. So to this day, oh my god, let's definitely dive into. I just saw a comment about Ozma we got to dive into in just a minute. But yeah, to this day I will always now think I will not explain couch biology to anyone, Jackie. If they don't get why that moose head had to be on that couch, that's their problem. But yes, let's dive into this comment. Oh my gosh, I've seen Ozma as America's first trans hero since I was small in the 80s. I love that. I think there's a lot of feminist and LGBTQ themes in this particular film too that I could really make an argument for.
And that's one of the things that it's in the book that's not touched on in the movie, but in the book, Mombi is raising an orphan boy named Tip. Tip is the one that builds Jack to scare Mombi. And Mombi's like, first of all, you didn't scare me. Second of all, look, I got this new powder of life. Let's see if it works. Brings Jack to life. Well, then she's like, yeah, I'm going to turn you to stone. And so they escape. Throughout the whole book, adventure happens, hilarity ensues. But what ends up happening is we find out that Mombi had changed little teeny tiny baby infant Ozma. She changed her into Tip. And Tip, throughout the book, doesn't know that he is Ozma. And gets
oh my god, I love Ozma as like a hero.
Changed back into Ozma to rule all of Oz.
Man, could you imagine if Disney had kept that? What's her name? Gore would have lost her ish. But wow, what an interesting concept. And I love that. I actually really love that particular part of Return to Oz, is that it does, like the original film, one of the parallels, it shows you each character so well in both worlds. Like, I was so afraid of all of those characters. And I guess Ozma in the real world was just another girl who was being treated. Is that fair for me to?
Right. Well, I mean, that's the real world counterparts. That's something that they added into the movie that's not in the books. They added that in to pay homage to the original. Where, you know, in Kansas, we had these real people to kind of make it look like, you know, oh, maybe Dorothy did make it all up, because she's seeing the people in her real life in this fantastical world. So that was to pay homage to the original, where you have the real life people, more so the real life villains, playing the villains in that world. But yeah, I like the idea that Ozma, well,
oh my gosh,
you know, I will get back to that because I have a hot take. I have a hot take about it.
Okay, on a reading of the film. Okay. I definitely think that a lot of people put a lot of weight, and like when you see the critiques of this film, about the mental health piece, and about like Dorothy does have signs of depression at the beginning of the film. She's clearly traumatized. Like, we can unpack Dorothy all day for what she went through in the first film versus how she turns out in the second. But in like a weird, I was also a little bummed to realize that electroshock therapy didn't become a thing until the 1930s. So they did get that part wrong. But I was kind of floored at being like, here's this really heavy thing for the 1980s that we never talk about, which is mental health. And now we're going to be like, well, was she crazy or was she not? She can't be, because Belina stayed, right? I mean, obviously the chicken didn't get it. So.
Yeah.
And I'd like to, of course, I'm going to live in the world where Oz is real, right? Like, I don't want to know anybody who wants to live in the world where they're like, I'm going to die on the hill, but none of that really happened. She's a very sick little girl. Cool. And so much evidence to support that, but I'm not living in that world. I'm living in the world of Oz. It makes the world a better place.
It does. But, no, it's, I did find that the concept, I mean, I completely, as much as I love this movie, we can absolutely see the flaws of, here's this very young girl, insomnia, electroshock therapy, hysteria, electroshock therapy, depression, delusion, electroshock.
I can't wait to move back to that world. I can't wait till we're back there, which is like going to happen next week. So it's perfect. I'm surprised neither of us has got like grabbed and pulled away from the camera to get electroshock conversion therapy yet.
There's still time. There's still time.
There's another 10 minutes left of the podcast. But no, I think, and to that, I do want to give all of the Wizard of Oz, whether it be Frank Baum and his original work, whether it be the OG movie, whether it be Return to Oz, whether it be the weird James Franco one. I'll list them all,
I really like the weird James Franco one.
A lot of people do. Maybe we should put a pin in it. We'll revisit it. But I haven't watched it since like the first time.
Yeah, I think I watched it when it came out in theaters and was like, I really like that. I might have rented it. I might have rented it.
I don't think, I think I saw it.
I just remember being like, I thought that was okay.
Which is high praise from you. especially for like a sequel or a redo. But anyway, all this to say, I think they're all feminist. And if you know anything about Jersey Ghouls as a podcast, one of the things we like to do is kind of dig into the feminism behind a lot of our favorite films, and particularly the horror genre. But I would argue that this is a really feminist film. I mean, geez, she takes charge, man. Even when the slightly weird pumpkin insists on calling her mom, she just rolls with it. Like a typical woman dealing with bullshit she doesn't need. Like, I'm in the middle of dealing with the Crisis of Oz. Do I have to unpack your Freudian daddy issues right now? I ain't got time for this crap. Like, I was like frustrated on her behalf. I was like, Jack, we ain't got time for your mommy issues right now. We're kind of worried about our lives. But anyway, all this to say, I think this is an insanely feminist film. And I think that this series, particularly with how wicked, and here's my big aha moment, Jackie. And you ready? If anybody at home disagrees, I can't wait to hear why.
Okay.
Men ruin Oz. Men come around, and I'm going to blame, well, I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to blame cis white men. I'm just going to take it to that place too. But no, I'm just kidding. They come around. First, it was the great and powerful, right? Then it's the damn Gnome King. What have we learned? Leave a woman, or even better if she's transgendered, in charge, and you will be fine. Whether it's a witch, whether it's a Ozma, a princess, I don't care. Give the men Oz, it all goes to pot. Thank you for coming out, everybody. No, I'm just kidding. End scene. Oh, wait, we're still on.
We're still on. We're still live.
Yeah. No, but right? Could you make that argument?
I mean, yes.
The witches mess stuff up. I mean, Mombi's pretty terrible, but there's plenty of horrible women too who shouldn't be in charge and who are grasping for power, like the Game of Thrones. But what's most important is that the men just prove they can't handle it.
It's true. In the third book, the reason that the Gnome King has power is because the king of that certain area sold his family to the Gnome King, and then himself. And then the Gnome King turned his family into ornaments. Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
too dark for me. I can't. The
yeah, like I said, the books seriously get very, very dark.
Sorry, I'm reading comments as they're coming in. I always get distracted. Before we get to your hot take that I'm fascinated about, I definitely want to kind of decide if, oh man, I totally lost my train of thought because I'm gonna get back to that comment. But yeah, like even the Goodman store was not worth the time. That's so true. I'm gonna get back to the fact that none of the like games in this film were fun. Like there was nothing fun to have in this Oz. Like whereas, and it's because they ruined it right at the end. It was all back to normal. But like I think that's what made it so horrific was they took this land that we all loved so much from when we were kids,
right,
and just demolished it. But anyway, hot take. Something you found out that is solving the mystery of the Return to Oz.
Not necessarily solving any mystery.
Okay, I don't know if there's a mystery.
Yeah, I don't think there's a mystery.
Okay,
but two things I realized that I don't think I've paid attention to before. One, that Uncle Henry is a big fat faker.
Oh my God, I'm so glad because this was something that I was going to end on my rant with.
Right.
What? Since the Grandpa Joe from Willy Wonka have I been more horrified.
Like, I get it. You probably did get hurt. But you're going to tell me, and by the way, I'm going to cite my sources. I work for an orthopedic doctor, so I know, okay? I know.
You can sniff out a faker a mile away.
You're going to tell me you need a cane, you can't work on the house. I'm sure it hurts, sweetie. But you're going to see Dorothy, and I get it. Adrenaline's pumping. Maybe you don't feel it right away. But like, I don't know. I'm going to call you a bit of a faker.
Oh my God. Well, yeah. I couldn't believe that's
like he throws that cane. About. You know, he's like, Dorothy.
Jackie, they're on their way. They're on their horse-drawn carriage, and they're heading to a mental asylum where the little 8-year-old girl's going to be left to get electroshock therapy with some sketchy-ass people. Okay? And the aunt turns to her, and she's like, he's freaking faking it. I was like, now, I don't have the background that you have in medicine and fraud in orthopedic injury, but I was shook. I was like, why would you? Dorothy's got a lot on her plate. She might be a schizophrenic. She hasn't slept in weeks. Does she need your personal drama and she's also 8 years old.
Right.
Get it together, Annie M. Like, that is not
Right.
a friend. That's a kid you're raising.
Don't put that on her. Don't put
Call your
her.
bestie
Don't put
later
your
and be like,
marital issues on your niece, who is
I'm just
clearly
really upset.
she's dealing with some stuff.
She's got some shit. She doesn't need your weight too. That's all I'm saying there. Oh my God, Jackie! I was like, it is one of my biggest issues of contention with this film.
my other hot take. Now we love Ozma. We do.
Oh, God,
I love Ozma. Ozma's a bit of a mean girl because Ozma, pretty much in the beginning, you know, she's one of the young girls at the asylum. She draws her out. She draws her out because she knows if she can get Dorothy back to Oz, that's her best chance of being saved. Because Ozma wants to get out of the mirror, wants to be saved again. So
you're saying there's there's a parallel, like what happens in this world directly correlates to what happens in the other world? Like, is this like
I'm just saying that Ozma knew how to get Dorothy back.
And almost got her drowned in the meantime.
They got her back because she was the one that could save Ozma. So let's skip to the end. We're all celebrating. And everybody is like, Dorothy, stay. Be our queen. We love you. Stay,
she's like, whoa,
Dorothy.
Whoa.
Then that's when Ozma shows up and she's like, help me through the mirror. She comes through the mirror and they're like, oh, okay. Here's Ozma. She is the rightful ruler of Oz, which, no lie, she really is the rightful ruler. But I think she's getting a little bit jealous because the minute that Dorothy is like, you know what? I'm ready to go back to Kansas. Like, the girl wants to go home. She's like, okay. She clicks her heels. So Dorothy goes, wait, I don't even have time to say goodbye. The camera turns to Ozma. Ozma doesn't say anything and just kind of goes and gives her a look. Like, you said you wanted to go home.
Wow.
Go home, girl.
Yeah, she does pull a little bit of a Regina George at the end. But you know what?
You could let her say goodbye to her friends. She got a little bit mean at the end. So I'm like,
in Regina, I mean Ozma's defense.
In my argument
is, I just got back my throne, right? I'm like, yeah, back where I belong. Ooh, that was scary. I was trapped in a mirror. I had to go into the real world and fish out some girl to save me. That was, it was a long day. And I look over and everybody's celebrating this girl. I think I gotta act. You know, like they say a teacher shouldn't smile till Christmas. Like, that's the queen's being a bitch.
Why would they say that? Why do they say that?
It's this old thing. We don't do it anymore. We've now realized in education that that's a crime. But back in the day, they used to be like, when you take over a situation, you got to come in strong. Maybe she was just coming in strong, Jackie. No?
I don't know. I think I'd be a little grateful.
She's like 14 years old and blonde. She's got a lot of things stacked against her as a leader. All right, fair enough. No, I don't hate this theory. I like it.
No, yeah. But, she's got just a bit of a mean girl to her.
A little, a sprinkle. Well, don't we all, though? I mean, it's like on my worst days, my best days. Yeah, I think this is an interesting film that I do think is going to continue to be a thing because A, Disney, and I know people might come at me for that theory, and B, it's part of this huge legacy. Like, I'm sure how many people have gone back and watched all the other Oz movies, maybe even read the books, not the Wicked books, because those get weird too. But
very weird.
I only read 2 of them, and then I was like, this is making me uncomfortable. But I think this is going to keep getting revisited because it's an Oz thing. But then again, Dark Crystal and Labyrinth keep getting revisited because they're gangsta. So who knows? Oh, we have another comment about, here we go. On the subject of feminism throughout Oz, Lyman Burns' mother-in-law was... Oh. Okay.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
That's really cool. I know. I have to. I feel. Yeah. Can I Google it real quick?
Google it. Let's see it. Let's
do it. Okay.
Yeah. You know what? And while you're doing that, I need to just state for the record again. I know we're not really going like scene by scene or anything like that about the movie, but I have to say that from when I was a little kid until now, my favorite character will forever and always be TikTok. He is my absolute favorite. I love TikTok so much. He is my clockwork soldier. I love him. Seriously, when I watch it,
a little useless.
And he starts to useless. He's the one that brings Dorothy in.
He does. He's great. I don't like Jack. I know he was the influence for he was the influencer. Oh, we're getting there we go. Yep, that's exactly we're bad
very
feminists
cool.
because she was a huge American activist during the suffrage
Bad
movement.
feminist
So,
because I don't know
yeah.
every fucking feminist.
You are a bad I'm gonna deem
No, I
myself
said I'm not a bad feminist for not
Oh.
knowing every other feminist.
Oh, well, I'll take that bullet. I feel like a bad feminist right now, but I will do better.
Okay. You don't know every single person that existed on Earth ever?
I should. I bet you that's like a Jeopardy thing. But yeah, no, I think I'm gonna have to go if I have to choose a favorite. It's gonna be Batilda because at first I'm like
Belinda?
Belinda, sorry. Belina. I was looking at Matilda.
Matilda.
If I'm ever talking chicken, I'm gonna name it Matilda. Or maybe a non-talking chicken. That might be a more realistic goal one day. But Belina was my favorite because she's a little sassy, and I'm here for it. And when shit gets bad, she hides inside of the pumpkin's head, and I respect that. Like I respect.
I mean,
she's for a little.
Going off of the, we're with our strong female protagonist. I mean, you got to put Belina up there because she's the one that lays the egg to destroy the Gnome King.
Oh my God, that's so true. Technically,
it is a team effort for our ladies up front. It really is.
It is.
And I do have
love
to say,
that she stays. She stays in us.
And you know that the sap that I am at the end when TikTok starts to like feel feelings and he cries like a little drip of oil. Gets me. It gets me.
No, it doesn't. Does it really?
I love TikTok so much. I do.
Oh, I don't think I ever knew this about you, about how much you love TikTok.
I love him. And then of course, like it like ties into like one of the best episodes of Doctor Who during the David Tennant years. There's like all these like clockwork people that are like they attached them like they basically had a ship. You know what? I'm not going to get into it. But anyway, there's like there are clockwork people in Doctor Who, and it's one of the coolest David Tennant episodes.
And
he crashes through a mirror on a horse. It's a whole thing. It's and it's David Tennant, so I'm happy.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see if we'll be talking about this in 10 more years. I bet you.
I know I will, and I'll probably be like, "Hey, you know what? In 10 more years, it'll be the 50th anniversary of Return to Oz." Yep. So absolutely, we will be talking about it again. I do also want to talk just briefly because we lost her just a few months ago. Jean Marsh, who plays Queen Mombi. She also played the evil witch in Willow. She was in the Changelings. Like she was. She passed away there. But Jean Marsh was like so iconic, and I know that she's been in so much more than these 80s movies, but that's like I said, to me, this movie and Willow, that's where I know her from. But yeah, very celebrated English actress. But yeah, like I've had Jean Marsh days where I've watched Willow, this movie, and The Changeling. She's also been in like old school Doctor Who stuff, so lots of love for her. And the other one I have to just say that I absolutely love, all of the claymation that is done in this movie is through Will Vinton Productions. And Will Vinton, I don't know if people are familiar with the California Raisins, the Christmas claymation special. It's the Will Vinton's Christmas claymation special, which is the greatest Christmas special on the face of the planet. He is one of the producers, and he was the lead claymation director.
That adds up because those effects are so good.
Anything with Will Vinton's name on it, I absolutely adore his work. So yeah, I mean,
and I read like
I don't know. Yeah, I can definitely say that. 10 years from now, because it'll be the 50th anniversary. Absolutely, we'll be back here on Geepscape and chatting it up, and we'll just have to be like, hey, remember 10 years ago? I'm like, I still love it.
I don't know. My kids walked in the room when I was rewatching it because they had watched it with me originally for the first episode, and they're like, "Huh, is that really creepy movie with the wheelie guys?" I was like, "Yep, that's really gonna be. That's all you need to know. I mean, just survive and
really are." And it cracks me up how much of this movie, like, I don't, this isn't one that like I quote it all the time. I don't, I don't spin quotes from this movie in my daily life the way I do certain movies. But it's funny that I was watching it recently, and it's like I I could say the words along with, like, I've seen
Aw.
it so many
It's one of those
times.
for you. I love that.
It really is. Like, and to
I
me,
wonder
like,
if a lot of people have that. Yeah.
there is that one. The one that I do probably say, and mostly to my own mother, but when the Wheeler and TikTok and Dorothy go to Mombi's
Terrific.
place for the first
Uh-huh.
time, and they're like, "We're gonna let you go, but you need to behave." And he's like, I'll behave," and then he wheels away and he goes, "Behave, behave." So yeah, like that's something that I would
But
tease
he's
my
like, "You
mother with.
behave."
Yeah,
That's the
you
line I thought you.
behave. Yeah. My mother gets that from me from time to time.
That's adorable.
Even as, 44 years old, I'm like, "Behave."
You do good wheelers in person. I would hire you to be a
Ooh,
wheelie.
thank you.
Uh,
God, I could
anything
ima that would
else?
be so much friggin' fun to be a wheeler.
Oh
Like,
my gosh,
athletically, like,
terrifying.
it probably hurts.
I was just gonna say my back hurts
Yeah.
just
But
thinking
yeah, my
about
back
crouching over
hurts,
like that.
you're on but I'm like, "God, that would be so friggin' fun. I wanna be a wheeler." Um,
Done. No, I wanna be
and I
mom.
do.
I have, like, lots
You
of
wanna
them.
be mom? God, with the part with the heads, that
That's so
just
scary.
okay, they did get nominated for an Oscar for visuals, for best visuals.
Wow.
They lost out,
Who'd they
but
lose to?
they lost to,
I'm
oh,
looking it up
friggin',
right now.
uh, why would I wanna say it begins with an L?
Indiana
I
Jones
c
and the Temple of Doom, which so deserved it. You wanna talk about movies I'll talk about. Oh my god, wait, when are we doing the 30th anniversary of, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom? I'm calling dibs now, because that is one of my
okay.
all-time favorite films. Anyway, continue.
But no,
It
so
deserves
yeah, they
this.
won for visuals. Again, like
Oh,
that
they
that
beat Indiana Jones?
no, they lost.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
sorry, I
good.
didn't mean they won, I meant they
That's okay.
nominated. They got
Whew,
nominated.
as it should be. That
Um,
scared me for a
yeah,
second. Maybe
but
you
just like that,
forgot.
the camera going down the hallway with the heads. The
Yeah,
opening
terrifying.
the one mirrored closet when you open it and it's got, I don't know, like I feel like I can see like a lot of little itty bitty elements of Jackie origin from this movie.
Fair. And Tim
Yeah,
Burton has also given credit to this film for his Jack Skellington. So everybody who's always like, "That's the Pumpkin King," it sure is.
yeah,
Thanks to Return to Oz.
yeah.
Anything else, Jackie?
That's everything that I've got.
Me too. So before we leave, I feel like we should definitely mention again that we are the Jersey Ghouls. I'm Marissa. That's Jackie. I don't know which way I should be pointing.
Yeah,
Um,
whatever.
and
You're this
we
way
are
from me.
we are the Jersey
Yeah.
Ghouls. We love to talk about all things horror, especially creepy horror like this. And we like to talk
Mhm.
about it and try to make people giggle, but also think about some of the more academic and feminist stuff behind all of our favorite films. So come check us out if you are a horror fan or if you just enjoy hearing us talk over at Jersey Ghouls on all of your favorite podcasting apps. And of course, if you love what we do, Geekscape, check it out, geekscape.net. They have so much cool content over there. We are always so excited to collaborate with all the amazing teams and all the awesome podcasts over there too. So yeah, check us out at
Yeah.
geekscape.net. Thanks for having us.
I did want to say that we release episodes every other Sunday, and this Sunday coming up is our
Mhm.
next episode, and it's actually a very special episode, and not for anything icky. It's very special because it is
Right,
going
not
to be our 250th
woo.
episode.
I can't believe we've done this for 250 episodes, but yes.
I
So come
know.
check us out, Jersey Ghouls,
Please
and thanks
do.
again, geekscape.net.
Thank you for letting us take over.
Woohoo! You can have it back, I guess.
Yeah, have it back.